Is Patrick Mahomes the fourth best quarterback in the NFL? Let's talk about that.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
Hell no, he's not, Michael. That's the answer. Woo. That's the quick and simple answer. We can get offline now. Appreciate you guys being here.
Appreciate you guys being here. Patrick Mahomes is the number one quarterback, Steve.
What about that? Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button for us, and we'll catch you next time. Just kidding. Appreciate you all being here. Good to see everybody. Let's have a little fun tonight. Let's talk about Chris Sims being a slapnut, baby. There's nothing else to talk about in the offseason, so let's pick on old Chris Sims for being an idiot. How about that?
That's fun. Usually Chris Sims isn't too big of a Chiefs hater.
No, normally his takes are okay. Like he'll have every once in a while he'll have some stupid take, but most of the time he seems pretty grounded, you know. But not this time. Not this time.
Well, what do you got for us?
What I got Chris Sims' top 10 quarterback list he put out. He does it every year, and 2025 QB Countdown says that the number one quarterback of 2025 is Lamar Jackson. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Joe Burrow. And number 4, Patrick Mahomes. Then he goes on. Let's look at the rest of the list. Why not? Number 5, Jaden Daniels. 6, Matt Stafford. 7, Stroud. 8, Justin Herbert. And Baker Mayfield, number 9, as Pocket Rockets. What about that? He called them penises in front of everybody.
He said, hey, Herb, looking like a penis today.
And then Jalen Hurts at number 10. But we want to talk about this one. We want to talk about this right here. Mike, what in God's name is he thinking? Like, it's not just the best quarterbacks of last season. It's the best quarterbacks of 2025. It's just top quarterbacks.
It's not quarterbacks going into the season. Like, who do you think will have the best year?
It's top quarterbacks of this year, man.
Yeah, okay, so presumably I'm going to say it's the guy he would want to take to start a franchise this year. So he's got 3 guys above Patrick Mahomes that's never won anything.
Collectively.
I don't even think, besides Joe Burrow, there's not even been a guy win an AFC championship game, has there?
Seriously, collectively, between the 3 of them, they have won AFC championship. That's it in their entire career.
And Mahomes, let's keep this in mind. Mahomes has never not been to an AFC championship in his entire 8 seasons he's been in the NFL.
Absolutely absurd.
Why do these people do this?
All the time, man, all the time. And, you know, I think the reason why the Chris Sims one threw me off is because, like you said, normally his takes aren't too bad. He's not much of a Chiefs hater. He didn't buy into the refs thing. He didn't buy into the Taylor Swift stuff. He didn't buy into a lot of things. Normally he's, you know, pretty reasonable, has the Chiefs back about stuff. But putting Patrick Mahomes at number 4 in quarterbacks, it's just outrageous, dude. Like, that's egregious, and you have to be made fun of. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about stupid.
I mean, the
Chris
fact
Sims.
that he's literally got a running back as his number 1 QB is wild.
And number 2. Josh Allen's in there too, buddy.
Josh Allen tries to be a running back, doesn't he?
Hey, they run more than anybody.
Look, I don't understand. Like, if I was going to pick this one, okay, look, obviously people are going to say, you guys are homers. Patrick Mahomes. Look, I'll say this. Patrick Mahomes hasn't put up the same numbers as these guys over the past few years. He's had a few down seasons. But, I mean, come on. He's got the worst offensive line out of all these guys except for maybe the Bengals. He's had the worst wide receiver core out of all these guys since he's come in the league. I think the Ravens may be pushing you for a bad receiver core, but they just give Rashad Bateman a bunch of money. What are you doing? Like, that's on them for being ignorant.
Yeah, but they also have Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins now. They have...
well, this year, what have they had his entire career? They've had a lot of different guys there, a lot better than Mahomes has had.
Yeah,
Steve, Mahomes has literally had Tyreek Hill. That's the main number 1 guy. And then you're like, well, they had Travis Kelce. He had Travis Kelce. Well, big deal. Big deal. He's got Mark Andrews.
I thought Mark Andrews
was better.
Yeah, I thought Mark Andrews was better than Travis Kelce. So that
I don't understand the slander. Look, Mahomes is going to keep getting this until he decides to come out and put up 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns again. He can't come out and do the dinking and dunking.
That's weak. That's weak.
I'm just saying, though. He's not even hitting that, though.
You've got to see 5,050. 5,050. Tell everybody to suck it and go home for the offseason. That's what Mahomes
I totally
needs to do.
agree. But he's not doing it. And you can blame the line. You can blame the wide receivers. You can blame this. You can blame that. You can blame Andy Reid. You can blame Nagy. Blame whoever you want. At the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes still not putting up numbers for some reason, and that's giving these people a reason to talk the crap.
Who cares? Stats, whatever. Patrick Mahomes is ridiculous, and everybody knows it. Let's take a look at these QBs real quick. I want to go on to this list because I just wanted to kind of count something in my head here. Okay, do you realize that Patrick Mahomes has more Super Bowl rings than every other QB in the top 10 combined?
Yeah, only Stafford's got one, and that's it on this
And
page,
Jalen
right?
Hurts.
Oh, yeah, Hurts, I forgot.
Yeah.
So Hurts got one this year. Stafford's got one, correct?
That's it, bro.
Herbert's not going to sniff one probably. Mayfield, no way. I think putting Baker Mayfield in the top 10 is kind of even a stretch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
How bad
I
is
would
the
say so.
Look, I thought the NFL was doing better at evaluating QB talent and things, but if you can literally have Matt Stafford, who's like almost 45 years old, into your top 6, you can have literally your top 3 guys have never even won an AFC championship game. Justin Herbert's never won any big game, barely even been to the playoffs. Baker Mayfield was ran out of Cleveland, couldn't do nothing. And then Jalen Hurts is literally a glorified running back.
The only
And
one
this
you
is your
didn't talk
top
about
10?
was Jaden Daniels, and we don't even know what he is yet. He had a good rookie season. So did CJ Stroud.
Right, you have 2 guys. And
You know.
CJ Stroud, he crapped the bed last year in his second year like we knew he would. And he's still considered a top 10?
Absolutely.
How
Absolutely.
bad is the NFL quarterback situation?
It's nuts, man. But yeah, there ain't really nothing to
Hey,
talk
Mel
about
Kiper
tonight.
might be right. They don't know how to evaluate quarterbacks.
There ain't really nothing to talk about tonight, but we thought we'd talk about this. I mean, pretty much that's all you have to talk about in the offseason as a Chiefs fan, usually is the slander, right? Because it's the annual let's make bad takes month of the year and get everybody fired up. Let's talk about it. But I'm with you, man. I think Mahomes has to shut everybody up himself. And we said this time and time again last year, like, they need to shut everybody up. But they didn't quite do that. They went to the Super Bowl and laid down for the old Eagles. But I think that's definitely what you got to do at this point. I mean, the only thing you do is win. And I think the Chiefs are going to do just that. I honestly think that the Chiefs have a very, very good team going into this season. I'm pretty excited to see how it goes, bro.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited
It's a
to see
good
how it
roster, man. We've went over this time and time again. Like tomorrow is literally the last day of voluntary OTAs, and then next Tuesday starts involuntary OTAs, and they're going to do that for 3 or 4 days. These guys are going to take a month off, and then it's time to get to camp. So we have evaluated this roster so much, and basically we're doing it without even seeing anything. Like we've literally seen 3 practices since February, right?
Right. When did you say mandatory was?
It's next week, starts Tuesday.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, man. I'm excited to see it. I want to see some of these guys. Look, we're going to talk about this until everybody's blue in the face, until next week. We'll be talking about it the rest of this week probably. I'm sure there'll be something come out of practice tomorrow everybody will get horned up about. I'm sure there'll be some random wide receiver catch something and get everybody fired up. There'll be something happen. But then all weekend long, we're all going to be counting down to the mandatory OTAs because you want to see what happens. Like, is Jalen Moore going to do anything? Like, hopefully he started practicing this week, right? Like, I think that's a big one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's going to be one of the biggest offseason battles that you want to watch is the left tackle position. You want to see how your rookie's doing. You want to see how he's coming back from the injury. And, of course, you want to see about a guy that you just paid $30 million to for a couple of years. So I think that'll be fun to watch. And, of course, the guard position as well. So offensive line's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a really fun camp. Like, usually with the offseason, like, camp's just something to talk about, right? And there's, like, maybe one position battle you want to watch.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. This season's completely different, man. Like, I kind of want to see how the back end of the wide receiver room shapes up. I want to see how the cornerback room shapes up. I want to see how this offensive line goes. I mean, there's a lot to look at, and the defensive line, too, because there's a lot of pieces in that now. And then, of course, there's some guys that could potentially make the roster that you're not expecting to, and there's probably some guys that are not going to that you're fully expecting to be there. So it's going to be fun, man. Brian Parrott says no more UDFA simping. Brian, you're too old to be saying simping. But no, as far as UDFAs go, they are what they are. But I think maybe we have potentially 2 or 3 that could probably make the roster, I think. If you had to pick, just say 3 were going to make the roster, which is a stretch. But if 3 of these new UDFAs were going to make the 53-man roster, which 3 are you taking?
UDFAs? Yeah. I think Brenningstool would be a very good pick right off the bat, just because we've heard a lot from him right now. Robert Tonyan's the guy he's got to beat, like theoretically.
Robert Tonyan.
Yeah, right? So Tonyan's who you got to beat. We don't know how Wiley's coming back from that injury. He may not even be ready to go by the time Canton gets here. We don't know. So I would say Brenningstool right now, he's done the most. he's had the most like positives about him I've seen. Outside of him, man, I don't know. I still think a lot of people think Asa Poll has a chance to make it. I think he won like a poll, not his last name, but a poll, Poll. He won the poll the other day when you put up 4 who could possibly make the team. Look, I like the way he is and stuff. I like his, I like the fact that he's a young guy. He's got good size, this and that. You got stuff to work with. But I still think when it comes down to it, I would prefer keeping a guy like Dalton Cooper, who's like a Swiss Army knife up and down the line. I think Dalton Cooper, I would give the nod to Dalton Cooper right now as being my second guy that could squeeze on as a UDFA. And then my third one, I'm not even going to go to wide receiver because I just think the wide receiver room is way too, it's just too dense. The same with running back room. It's a little too dense, although I really like Elijah Young. I think that kid's got a lot of potential. But I think it's just too dense. So I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball. And I think I'm going to pick either Brandon George, the linebacker, or I'm going to go with Izzard at defensive tackle. One of those two guys. And I mean, like my long would be like a Glendon Miller or somebody in the backfield, like way back there in the DB room because – but I think Brandon George offers the special team stuff. He would have that over Izzard, right? Izzard's not going to get there and play special teams more than likely unless he's just clogging up the middle on certain things. So that would be the 3 I would give it to. Absolutely.
I think I'm right there with you. You pretty much summed it up pretty well. But we're here to talk about Patrick Mahomes being disrespected, Mike. So let's stick to that subject for just a little while before we get off on everything else. And let's talk about this top 10. And then I would like to rearrange the top 10. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go look at this. We got to fix it because Chris Sims is an idiot. He needs help, right? He needs help. So let's help him out. So obviously Mahomes is going to number 1 here, without a doubt.
Yeah, he goes to number 1.
Okay, so let's go number 2 here. What do you say for number 2? Is it going to be Lamar,
think it's got to be
Josh Allen?
I think it's got to be Josh Allen more than likely because he did win the MVP. You could say last year they took it from Lamar. And that. But I do think Josh Allen, he deserves to be a top 3. So however you want to put Josh Allen and Jackson at 2 and 3, I would take it. Personally, I would rather have Josh Allen if I was going to start a team because I think he does offer more with arm strength. And I think he reads defenses a little bit better than Lamar. So I'd put him as 2, put Lamar at 3.
He seems to be more durable, too. He hasn't really had
a little
any
bit. Even though Lamar's never really had any problems with injuries, right?
Lamar missed almost an entire season with an injury. So there's definitely a difference there. Josh Allen is a size of a linebacker.
Number 4 by he's above everybody else. And honestly, in certain systems, I would take Burrow over Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson with certain coaches, certain systems. So I'm not saying Burrow's bad at it by any means. This is your top 4. It's Mahomes and however you want to put them in, to be honest.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I always gave Joe Burrow a lot of credit too, but I'm kind of getting off that, kind of getting away from it. Because I feel
starting to become more of a Burrow hater.
I am, and let me tell you why. Like, the only reason why he ever stays in these conversations is because Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs had an epic meltdown one year when the Bengals were having a lucky run in the playoffs. They were like a 10-6 team or something like that. I don't remember, 10-7, something like that, and they got to the Super Bowl. Like they won, they literally pulled something out of their ass for 2 games, and then they beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs after an epic meltdown in the second half. They were getting blown out in the first half. So, like, that's the only thing he's really got to hold on to. Other than that, stats, right? Well, here's my thing. Dude has probably had one of the best wide receiver corps in football. He had Joe Mixon. So he had weapons all around him on the offense. Granted, his offensive line wasn't great, but he still had really good weapons on offense. And they suck. They're always playing from behind. They're either losing or like I feel like he gets a lot of garbage time stats every season. Just him chucking up 50-50 balls. Like I got to see more from Joe Burrow before I could even think about squeezing him into the top 3.
This would be my argument to that. I think he deciphers defenses, and I think he's got better arm strength and probably better accuracy than Lamar Jackson. Only thing Lamar really gives you over him is his ability to escape the pocket, to extend the plays. But we've seen Joe Burrow. He beats us with his legs a lot. He does that a lot. So there's plenty of times we don't keep somebody in there and he'll get out of the pocket. We've seen that time and time again. And then I just think he's got a better attitude than Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a baby. Like, he's a crybaby. Like, straight up, he's a crybaby. I don't like him. I would pick Burrow at number 2. That's just me. Basically, a lot of that. Let's bring this one up. I like this one. Mad Dog owner, Shark Esports, whatever that is. I would say Mahomes is like number 8. He's just a QB with good puzzle pieces. Steve, what good puzzle pieces has Patrick Mahomes ever had? We just discussed the best wide receiver he's ever had was Tyreek Hill.
This person's pretty dumb.
So on the team this year, he's got a aging Travis Kelce, and that's been his only huge target he's had for 5 or 6 years. Since Tyreek Hill was gone, it's Kelce. The kid's never had a good offensive line, like a solid left tackle. He's never had that in his entire career. He just recently has a good defense, but that's not that big of a deal. Our defense doesn't create a lot of turnovers. They don't do a lot of things that some people would benefit from.
Well, you don't even have to go that far into it. You don't have to go that far into it.
I don't think the puzzle piece thing's true.
Give me one quarterback in the league that you could take and replace Patrick Mahomes with on the Chiefs from the year 2018 and on that would have won one Super Bowl, let alone 3. Exactly. It's the
There's no QB in the league that you could have put him on our team over the past 4 or 5 years and you'd have won.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Well, I just want to take a second to say thank you guys for being here tonight. We appreciate you. Good to see everybody. YouTube, you're getting your asses stomped. Getting a mud hole stomped in it. There are only 80 of you here. 80 out of 983. Get it together, YouTube. And do us a favor, if you are here, if you're one of the 79 or 80 that are actually here on YouTube, hit the like button, and that would help. That would be greatly appreciated.
X is pulling tonight.
Yeah, getting
There's almost 900 people from X tonight on live. So X is feeling it. YouTube. Look, I'm going to tell you about our YouTube people. I love our YouTube people, but we got some. It's wild, right? There's a lot of competition over here. It gets a little wishy-washy. It's hard, but people on X, they want to see good stuff. They'll follow us, and I think Matt Derrick's live right now. I mean, that's kind of cool. Matt Derrick knows what he's talking about, but look, Matt Derrick ain't as fun as we are. Come on.
Yeah, hit that like button.
Hey, speaking of Matt Derrick, though, we're trying to get him on for a little bit of a collab with Matt Derrick. I want to get his thoughts on OTAs. Look for that in the future. I think we're gonna try to get Matt on here.
Yeah. And now that you're done bitching at everybody, let's get back to our our list here.
I was not mean one time.
I know. I'm just playing. But you probably hurt somebody's feelings. All right, so now let's go to number 5. I'm not putting Jaden Daniels at number 5. That's insanity.
Me either. We don't know what Jaden Daniels has in the tank.
If he puts up another season like last year, this season, then we can talk. But right now, I'm not comfortable putting him at number 5. That's wild.
And calling it surgicality?
Yeah, that's so weird.
He doesn't even throw to specific parts of the field. So how are you surgical when you don't throw to certain?
Who does go in here at number 5?
I mean, honestly, I think I put Stafford. Even though he's getting a little old, he's a little long in the tooth, right? But I think Stafford's still a really good quarterback.
I think so, too. I mean, you have to think about it. He spent 11 years with the slapnuts up there in Detroit. They wouldn't put a team around him. The first time he actually had a decent team around him, which they did stack it a little bit in L.A., but they did.
Exactly. Why don't you go at Stafford and say, well, he was just in a good spot with the pieces because he couldn't win in Detroit with nobody, and then he goes over there with Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp, and they're just stacking people left and right for him, and then he wins, and nobody says that about Stafford, right?
Yeah, they did. They stacked that team up. It was crazy. I think they had, what's his name? Von Miller. They had quite a bit of pieces there.
They just stacked
Jalen Ramsey, maybe.
It was one of those super teams they were building.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go with Stafford at 5. I think that's fair. Let me look at the chat, too. I want to get your all's opinion, too. So if y'all have any thoughts on that, throw it in here in the chat. That way we can get some help with this. But let's see. Rico says Cole's doing his Tuesday night Q&A. It's probably why YouTube is so low tonight. Yeah, Mr. Beast is on. Number 6. If we go at number 5 with Matt Stafford, we go number 6. Do we put Jaden Daniels even at 6 at this point? And here's another thing that we have to go by, too. It's like there's guys like Justin Herbert who have the intangibles that have not been able to get it done. And then you got guys like Jalen Hurts, who isn't that great of a quarterback, but he's been to 2 Super Bowls and won one. So it's like, how do you judge it?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I don't know. I would consider maybe, I'm trying to think of even a quarterback you would put in this list. Like, do you consider Brock Purdy coming in there in the top 10 anywhere?
See, I don't know. Maybe a lot of people
I'm just
would
saying, like, look,
argue that.
who's the guy on this list that you would maybe like? Give me one or two names that you could potentially throw out of the top 10. Like, would you be fine throwing Jaden Daniels out of the top 10 because he hasn't done enough, or do you think his one season justifies him being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL?
I would say that his one season having him in the top 10 is as justified as C.J. Stroud being there.
But
100%.
at 5 and 7,
It seems a little wild.
maybe not, right?
So who ends up at number 6 then? Did we go ahead and put Jalen Hurts at number 6 off of just accolades? Because, yeah, I mean, he had a super team built around him. I don't know if there's ever been a team as stacked up as this last Eagles team.
No.
So, I mean, it's hard
But
to...
they did give the Chiefs a decent run the first time around, too.
Yes, and they had a pretty good team then as well.
Well, they always have a pretty good team.
Yeah, they
Roseman
stay
knows how to build a
stacked.
team.
They stay stacked, and they throw money at everybody. I'm okay with putting Jalen Hurts at number 6. But and the reason being, if you take age out of the equation, wouldn't you rather have Matt Stafford than Jalen Hurts as your quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
would.
think so. Right. So let's go number 5, Stafford, number 6, Hurts. I think that's fair. Okay. And then we can start talking about these young guys that haven't done anything or haven't proved anything. And believe it or not, if you're gonna go by just personal stats and everything because there's no accolades to be given out, I think Justin Herbert has to go ahead of Jaden Daniels and C.J. Stroud because he's put up so much stats since he came into the league. Like, he's broke a lot of records. He's went crazy. He ain't won any big games, but neither have they. Now, Jaden Daniels did get to the NFC Championship game.
Well, look, I think Daniels should be below. I think Daniels should be below Jordan Love maybe right now. I mean, there's a very good possibility that you could do that.
Jordan
one.
Love, though, I wouldn't have him in my top 10.
I mean, he's borderline it. What about Brock Purdy? He's been to the Super Bowl 2 times. Or is it only once? But either way, he's been to a Super
Once.
Bowl. These other guys have not. And then you can't say
Yeah.
stacked team. We just discussed that Stafford was on a stacked team. So,
Yeah. Well, think about it. Let's think about it. And you all put it in the chat who you think should go at number 7, because that's where we're at now. So who would go in at number 7? And while we're doing that, baby, let's get to this chat here. Peter Ortiz with a 20 bomb. Let's go. Just tell me what QB beats Patrick constantly. None. 0. No one beats Patrick
I
constantly.
mean, is it Brady the only one that's beat him twice?
Yeah. Well, no.
Maybe.
No.
Who's beat him twice?
Josh Allen's beat him more than
Oh, well, yeah,
twice.
yeah. Well, he never beats him, though, you know,
The whole thing with
when it counts.
yeah, the whole thing with Patrick Mahomes and Brady was, well, they played them twice, once in the AFC Championship game and
Right.
once
Well,
in
at
the
least
Super Bowl.
he did beat Mahomes in the playoffs twice. Nobody else has got nowhere near that.
Right,
Like,
and-
Jalen
and-
Hurts has a chance to maybe get.
And
there
I'll be
twice.
honest here, for all intents and purposes, I feel like that was a 50-50 split because that first game was a joke.
That first game was a complete sham.
The D Ford
I mean,
thing, the
shit-
the
look,
Chris
that had
Jones
nothing
roughing
to
the
do-
passer,
That D Ford had nothing to do with that thing being
the interception he threw.
An interception. They should have let that play out. That's ridiculous. That was a total Brady call.
Yeah, dude. That one, I felt like Patrick Mahomes literally outplayed him, won that game. But in the Super Bowl, obviously, that wasn't the case. Patrick Mahomes did go crazy trying to be the Superman. But
Wasn't Mahomes' fault. Like, there were plenty of times he was hitting people in the face mask and they were dropping the ball.
yeah, for sure. Kyle with the 10 bomb says, can't stay for very long, gentlemen. Just wanted to say thanks for all the great content. Appreciate you, Kyle. You're the man. Thanks for the support. Also, thank you, Peter Ortiz, for the 20. You guys put some legendaries in the chat for those two guys supporting your boys. And let's freaking go. Let's get back to this list. It looks like, what do you guys think about number 7? Peter Ortiz says Mayfield. And then I think it was Rico says, what about Jared Goff? Shouldn't he be in the top 10 somewhere?
Jared Goff is one. I think Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, and Jordan Love have an argument. You can make arguments for them.
I would honestly say that Brock Purdy and Jared Goff definitely have an argument. And the reason being, they've both been to a Super Bowl. Right? So I could go with them two being there. Who would you put at number 7 then? Kind of thinking about all those guys and the things that they've done. Also, you have to factor in, just athleticism and how good they actually are. You know what I'm saying? So, like, who do we put at 7? I really don't know. I'm kind of at a crossroads.
Who
here. I don't
did
know
you
who
go
to
with
put.
6? You went Stafford at 5, and then 6 we took who? You went ahead and took Hurts?
Yeah.
I think 7 I would maybe consider 7, I would maybe consider either Jared Goff or Brock Purdy. And honestly, Purdy's won more games than Goff in the crunch time, so I would maybe go with Purdy.
I don't know.
Purdy just look.
Jared Goff's been to, let's see, he went to one Super Bowl with the Rams, and here's another thing. Do you think that Jared Goff might have got screwed out of winning a Super Bowl? When they built the super team there with the Rams, that's when that trade happened between them and Matt Stafford. Do you think that Jared Goff could have potentially won a Super Bowl with that stacked up team?
Maybe. Yeah, it's possible. It's just there was a certain reason that he just didn't click as well.
Well,
with the Rams, right?
Jared Goff's like...
I mean, but he did beat Patrick Mahomes on that crazy shootout game. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he could win decent games. He could win big games. I think that's why Detroit was comfortable making that trade, right?
Number 7. Do you ignore accolades here and go pure talent and go with Justin Herbert? That's another thing.
Well, I mean, Chris Sims.
But the only yeah. Yeah, no kidding. The only thing about it is, man, Herbert just can't win a big game. He cannot do it. He's proven that time and time again he can't do
Yeah.
it. So does that I think let's go who do we go with here? And why is Baker on the list? I don't hate Baker Mayfield, but why is he here?
No, I just don't think Baker's done enough.
I think
You know what I mean?
Chris
Like,
Sims
Baker's
just
never
wanted
even
to
went
call
to
them
a-
to
Baker's
penises.
never went to a Super Bowl. Baker's never went to a conference championship game, has he?
No.
So,
I think-
okay, so like I said, I feel like Purdy is owed more credit than that.
Yeah,
Being a
for sure.
7th round pick and doing what he's been able to do to get that second big contract. And look, his numbers were down just a little bit this year. But last year, the year where he was playing against Mahomes in the Super Bowl, almost won that Super Bowl. He was the number 1 QB in the league versus the blitz. He's one of the highest in completion percentages. He reads defenses very well. He doesn't complain. He doesn't do nothing crazy. And I mean, he just got a big contract this year, and their offensive line stunk last year. So you want to give Mahomes the line stunk last year. Well, so did Brock Purdy's.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. Last year he had 3,800 yards passing, almost 3,900, 20 touchdowns to 12 picks. That was right at what Mahomes threw for last year.
So which one you would go with? You like Purdy there?
I like Purdy going in at like number 7.
Okay, so we go Purdy 7, Herbert 8.
I would keep
Jared
Herbert in the
Goff.
top 10. I would put Jared Goff maybe
Let's go
at
Jared
9.
Goff. Maybe Jared Goff at 8 and Herbert at 9 because Jared Goff actually at least won a conference
Right.
championship.
Well, he's won some playoff games, right? Maybe one.
Right.
2.
So
I don't
so
know.
now that we have,
So you just need number 10.
well, that's another thing. Like I was mentioning earlier, since we're going off of guys that haven't won jack shit, do we go with Jaden Daniels, C.J. Stroud, or Justin Herbert as like a number 10? And could Jared? Let's see, we went Purdy at 7, Goff at 8. Is that what you decided to do?
Yeah, Herbert at 9. So that
So
leaves
is-
10.
Does Herbert need to be above? I guess so. He's proven himself.
I would take
more.
Herbert right now above Jaden Daniels because I don't know what Jaden Daniels is going to give me in year 2.
Well, okay, and as far as the other two go, Jaden Daniels, C.J. Stroud.
But CJ Stroud's got a fight here for the top 10.
I think Daniels though, just off of what he was able to accomplish his rookie season, because all of C.J. Stroud's clout comes from year 1 as well.
Right, but he was down a little bit last year, but he still wasn't bad.
They stacked his team up pretty damn good last year too.
It's true.
And he still didn't do much. And granted, there were some injuries. I get that. I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels at number 10. That's my choice. I think Stroud's right outside the top 10 at number
I would
11.
take Stroud only for the fact that at least in his second year, he still got close to making the playoffs.
Do you think
Or
Jaden
did they
Daniels-
make the playoffs? Did the
They
Texans
did.
get in last year?
Yeah, we beat him.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You're right. So that's 2 years in the playoffs, right?
Okay, sure. Let's go C.J. Stroud then. Jaden Daniels, sorry, buddy.
Jaden Daniels got to do it 2 years in a row at least.
Yeah, we got to see what you can do your second season here. Okay, I think that's fair. Do you guys think that's fair? Y'all let us know in the chat. What do you guys think? Do you think that's
The
fair?
chitty chat.
The chitty chat. Yeah. Appreciate y'all being here, though. X is blowing up, baby. 2.8 thousand people watching on X right now. And YouTube, you're still struggling to even hit 100. What are y'all doing with your lives? Hit that like button though if you haven't already. We only got 47 likes. Let's get that up. Let's get that up. Takes 2 seconds. Appreciate y'all though. And yeah, man, there's just not a whole lot to talk about. So as far as off season goes, like you said, mandatory OTAs are coming up. So it'll get a little bit more interesting once it's mandatory, right? And everybody has to be there.
Yeah, for sure. Next week will be a lot better. They might even allow media and stuff in for the entire 3 days. Possibly. I'm not 100% sure, but they might.
Be a little bit more to talk about. Yeah, Julia X has 3,000 bots watching right now. Elon's really got to do something about it.
Possibly.
All these bots that love Chiefs football. Man, I think that
it's got to be bots if they're watching us, Steve.
Of course. If they weren't robots, they wouldn't be here. Yeah, but I think that's going to be pretty exciting to see once everyone has to be there, right? Like it's not voluntary. That means everyone's there. That the coaches have their pick of everyone on the roster, and then we'll start seeing who they want to take closer looks at for these positions. I think you'll start to see that even in OTAs. And then once that bleeds into camp in July, then you'll have a good idea where like Andy Reid's head's at, Steve Spagnuolo, like what are they thinking and which guys are they thinking in those position battles? Because right now it's all been speculation, right? Like we're just looking at it and we're like, oh, well, Jake Brenningstool made a really cool catch in a 7-on-7 drill. Like, what does that mean? Man, I bet Jody Fortson did that a lot, you know? But
yeah,
it's so hard to say. But now if you have everybody has to be there, I think that's when we can get a good read on what the coaches think, right? Or where they want to start anyway. Like, what's the baseline? Because I think the coaches make that decision, like, this is our baseline, and then if someone comes up and takes this spot, then cool. But I think they have a pretty good baseline of what they want, and we'll see it in OTAs.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see the camp battles get underway. I think so. And some of these young guys that have been doing better, I mean, they can't hit. You're not going to see stuff like that, but I think you're going to get a little more of – and he'll crank it up a notch here, right? Like when you start getting mandatory, it'll be a little bit different, but yeah, I'm excited for it, man. It's just one step closer. Like, it's not going to be perfect, but it's one step closer to getting us to the actual stuff. So that's all we can do is kill the summer, right?
Yeah, for sure. Jay-Z the White says you keep trashing us. Why would we like it? LOL. I already did, but still, we're not trashing you just because you're watching on YouTube. You're actually here. We're trashing everybody else, man. Come on.
I ain't trashing nobody. Watch what you want. I'm just saying.
You're getting beat by X. That's all we were saying.
Yeah, I was just saying.
You're losing the battle.
X was just had more people on than YouTube did.
X is Patrick Mahomes. It's
not always like that, for sure.
X is Patrick Mahomes, and YouTube somewhere around the Jalen Hurts.
CJ Stroud conversation.
Yeah. That's all. Slow but sure with a freaking 20 bomb. Let's go, baby. He says, what's up, guys? Man, I'm so horned up. Let's go. Football needs to hurry up and get here. No kidding, man. It'll be nice to actually get back in the swing of it. Man, I've been pretty excited about this roster. The draft was fun. We had a really good draft. And I'm just excited to get football season back and going, man. Because we had to end last season with a bitter taste in our mouth, obviously. And we're ready to get that out of there. There's too much terrible Eagles fans running amok right now. Like, just stupid, bad takes, just dumb. And I don't like it. So we got to go knock them off their pedestal, you know? That's all. I'm ready to do that. I actually saw a post today on X, Mike, and I reposted it out and just was like, I can't imagine being this dumb. But an Eagles page actually posted a picture of Patrick Mahomes wearing a baseball cap and Oakley sunglasses. And then a picture of Jalen Hurts with a baseball cap and Oakley sunglasses and said, look, Patrick Mahomes is trying to be like Jalen Hurts. What?
Yeah.
Like, what's Patrick Mahomes has been sponsored by Oakley for 5 years now. Where have you been?
Yeah, whatever.
Like,
I don't know, man. Like, that had to be rage bait. Wasn't it?
No, I think they were serious,
had to be,
dude.
Bro.
They were serious. And it was literally an Eagles page with a bunch of Eagles fans in the comments. Like, who are they rage baiting? No one even cared. It was literally just a bunch of Eagles fans having a circle jerk about it.
What if?
Oh no, appreciate the 20, slow but sure. Y'all put some legendaries in the chat for
Appreciate you, brother.
Slow but sure, baby. Let's go. Thanks for the support. Let's see here. What we got going on? Let's go to the chat. You guys put some questions in the chat. Tell us what you want to talk about. We'll let you lead this one. We've been talking for 35 minutes about Chris Sims being a slap nut and a couple other little things, but let's see where you all take us. Julia Gulia says the Eagles are the real villains. Yeah. Man, it's funny because I think obviously every year that someone wins the Super Bowl, that team acquires some bandwagon fans, right? I mean, it's just natural. The Chiefs did it, so, but the Eagles bandwagon fans are funny to me. And here's the reason. Like, the Chiefs bandwagon fans is one thing. Patriots bandwagon fans were another thing. But if you're bandwagon onto the Eagles after this Super Bowl, what are you bandwagon? You might have to pick another team in the next year or two. Like, what do you... I think so.
I mean, the Eagles are one of those teams, though, they build teams because they'll overpay. They're the kings of putting on dead cap years and all that stuff. So I think they'll always tend to do that kind of stuff. Like, that's just the way Howie Roseman does it, right? It's kind of like the way, Al Davis ran a team with the Raiders. This is how he's going to do it forever and ever. So I think they're always going to be kind of solid. They'll always continue to buy themselves into being competitive. The Eagle fan base is just too wild.
Yeah,
like, they'll burn the city down if they lose 3 games.
I don't know about that. I don't think they'll miss the playoffs this coming year, but I could see it. It wouldn't surprise me. Ray says, Mike and Steve are going to give away posters with schedules on it like last year. Yeah, I think we are going to do that. I'm going to be designing one here soon. So I'm going to come up with a cool design for that, and we'll have scheduled posters, and we'll give those away on live streams and stuff. And also, once we get everything hammered out with when we're going to camp and doing the Chew with the Crew event, we'll have those there for you that show up to the Chew with the Crew event. We usually give a free poster away to everybody there. So, yeah, we're definitely going to do that, Ray. Rico says, the Super Bowl was on my birthday. I was in New Orleans. It was the worst birthday ever, man. What kind of shitty birthday present was that? They owe you something. I feel like,
man, if I were you, I'd write a formal complaint to the organization.
I think I would. Remember the other day when we were talking about suing people for pain and suffering?
Yeah.
Rico, you have a case here.
Emotional damage.
That's a $3.1 billion corporate, business. Okay, the Chiefs are $3.1 billion worth, and I think you're entitled to a little bit of that after what they did to you on your birthday. Pain and suffering, man. There's at least $1 million's worth there. Rico could be a millionaire. Let's go. We got a 10 bomb from Caleb Daniels. Says Xavier Worthy or Brandon Lloyd?
Right now, I'll take Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too.
I mean, how old is Brandon Lloyd? 60?
60?
You know about Brandon Lloyd that used to play?
Yeah, he's 43.
Yeah, I mean, I can't have a 43-year-old Brandon Lloyd running around. I'm sure he means in his prime, right?
Yeah.
Brandon Lloyd
I
was
would
good.
still-
I remember him. He was okay. I mean,
He was a Pro Bowler, I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
maybe he was borderline, but he was pretty good for a few years. Wasn't he from KC? Chris swore it was where he was born.
It's a good question, brother. I don't know. Let's go look him up.
I don't know nothing about him.
Yeah, he's from Casey. Yeah, he's 43.
I don't
So
know
we
the
had that.
stats.
We had that right. He's 43 years old.
Let's look him
He's
up.
from Kansas City, Missouri. He went to high school in Blue Springs. He went to college at Illinois. Drafted in 03 in the 4th round. I mean,
I think you got to take Xavier Worthy based on potential, man. He only had 400 catches, 6,000 yards, and 30 touchdowns his whole career.
I feel like
36
Xavier Worthy
touchdowns.
should be able to do that by halfway through his career.
Yeah, I think I have to take Worthy. And then
I think
also
so,
his
too.
career playoffs. He only had 12 catches for 100 yards and a tutty. So I've got to take Worthy there. Off just
I take
pure
Worthy
potential.
too. Yeah, appreciate the 10 bomb, my man. That's freaking awesome. Let's go. But yeah, I'm taking Xavier Worthy there off pure potential. Man, X is really, really kicking tonight. What about him? You guys are showing out. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. Let me get back to the chat here. I'm a terrible chat.
They're talking
reader
too.
guy.
Chick Pickle says
Pickle.
he was one of my favorite guys. I had them drafting in a few different mocks. He didn't say which one. He said, so I'd really love if he pans out. Time will tell. I think the Chiefs are the perfect fit for him. I think Brandon George maybe is who he was talking about there.
Yeah. Hey, Julia Gulia says that if she was Rico, she would just change her birthday. Just pick a new day, Rico, and start all over. You don't need to remember that every year.
Steve, speaking of X, look, let's not talk about the quarterbacks anymore, but speaking of X, I threw this one up today. Tell me what you think about this. Brashard Smith rushed for 15-plus yards 21 times last season at SMU, tied for 15th in the NCAA, and I put the Chiefs need that spark, and hopefully Smith provides it to the backfield.
Hell yeah,
We
baby.
just seen a stat coming out this past week that was talking about how there was no explosiveness with the Chiefs running backs and this and that. But, look, I think the Chiefs running backs were a little hindered. Think about it. You lost Pacheco for basically the majority of the entire season, right? And you had to go get Kareem Hunt off the couch.
Right.
And then your other guy that was doing it to Kareem Hunt got up to speed was a UDFA and Carson Steele, who's more of a fullback. Yeah. So it's like you really didn't have that explosive guy. You really didn't have anybody to be the explosive guy. That's what I'm trying to say. Like once Pacheco went down, and although Pacheco is explosive, his field vision lacks big time to where he doesn't routinely break off a lot of big chunk runs.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Chiefs really had anybody built to be able to do that last year. But Brashard Smith, you think that he's got what's the percentage? Here, I'll ask you this. What's the percentage you think he makes the team? And do you think by the year's end you will see more Brashard Smith and he will start to give us that pretty consistently?
So I think that Brashard Smith is going to make the 53-man roster. If I went percentage-wise there, I'd give it like an 80% chance, probably 90. He was a 7th-round draft pick, so it's not as, I think there's a little more invested in him than a UDFA. And here's the thing. I think the explosiveness, you hit the nail on the head with that, but also all the different things he can do for you. He can do that as a running back. He can do that as a receiver. He can do that in special teams. So I think that he does a lot of different things for you. And I really do believe that by the end of the year that you're going to see, I wouldn't be surprised to see it early in the year, but by the end of the year, you're definitely going to notice that he's the best receiving back on the team, and you're going to see that implemented a lot, I think. Just off of his speed and his athletic ability, I think Andy Reid is going to make a point to hit him with passes out of the backfield. I really do. So I think we're definitely going to see him on the roster, and I think he'll be a pretty integral part of the offense come playoff time.
Okay, I like it. I think I like the Brashard Smith. I'm hoping he becomes McKinnon, right? But with that, because he can catch the ball at the backfield. But with that, I would like to see him be able to take on more of a running back one role and get those carries. Because I don't think even in Kansas City, I don't care who he has as running back, like who it is. I just don't think Andy's very committed of giving these guys 20 to 25 carries anymore.
No,
I think you got to do what you got to do with your 10 to 15 tops.
And Brashard Smith's not that guy anyway. He's not going to carry the ball 25 times in a game.
Right.
He's not built for that. But, 15, sure. I think that he could be an RB1 per se. I don't know if he'll ever be used like that, though. I almost feel like he's going to get into that Jerick McKinnon type role of a third down back or just a receiving back most of the time. He'll definitely get carries. I don't know how many. But he does need to work on some pass pro to get to that Jerick McKinnon level. And I think that he will eventually – I don't know if he'll be as good as McKinnon, but I do think that he can get close to that. And the reason I say that is because if you go watch his tape in college, he was very willing. Like, he didn't shy away from blocks. He was always in there trying to do it. And I think once he gets a knack for picking up those blitzes and things like that, I think he'll be okay.
Okay. I like it. I like the answer. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I'm excited to see what the running back can do. I think my other big thing would be how many are they going to take? That is still like an intriguing question for me because last year they took 3. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they took Pacheco, and they took Carson Steele as the fullback. So it's like, are they going to do that again? Like, are you just taking 3? And then on top of that, it's like, are you keeping Carson Steele as the fullback? Like, are you just going to get rid of him now? Like, you invested a year into him. They give him a big UDFA contract, right? It's a pretty good size for a UDFA. So kind of knew he was maybe not a shoo-in to make the team, but you knew they were looking at him to do that role, I think. And I think that was why I think Andy's kind of committed to having that role back on the team. And I don't know if they go away from him here in year 2. So you got to ask yourself, did the Chiefs take 3 plus 1 4+1, 5+1. I think that's a little absurd, but
I think
I'm curious.
4 tops. I think the 4 would be who you think they are. Isaiah Pacheco 1, Kareem Hunt 2, Elijah Mitchell 3, Brashard Smith 4, and I think that's it. I don't.
And you're
I
cutting
don't.
Carson Steele. You're
don't think
cutting the fullback.
Yeah. First of all, he was never a
I think Andy
fullback.
wants the fullback.
He was never a fullback. He never played fullback last year.
He will be. I think
I
they
don't
see
think
that
so.
in him, and I think that they like that.
We'll see, but I think
Andy
they're done
likes
with
the
that.
fact that he can
I think
implement that.
I think here in the year of our Lord 2025 that fullbacks are a past thing, besides Kyle Juszczyk.
I don't know if I buy that one.
Hey,
Especially with a guy like Carson Steele that can catch the ball in the backfield. A lot of people said fumble issues. The dude fumbled like 2 times.
name me 3 fullbacks. You can't do it.
You don't have
It-
to. Carson
it's
Steele's not
obsolete.
strictly just a fullback, though. I mean, you could see he could play running back some. He could catch the ball. He's more of an H-back to begin with.
Yeah,
I mean, he's-
I think it was was it
I
Peter
don't know,
Ortiz? I think it was our boy Peter in the last live stream. He was like, "Let's just get Carson Steele out there tight end."
I think that's
H-back,
why they
baby.
like Carson Steele, I think. He's just kind of like the jack of all trades, right?
Yeah, I honestly don't think he makes the roster this year. I think that Brashard Smith and Elijah Mitchell kind of made that hard for him. I think the only reason he was on the roster last year is because it was pretty thin. And I think he had a really good preseason, and that helped. But obviously they didn't have that much faith in him because they went away from him quick. 2 fumbles, and neither of them his fault, by the way. Ball was high and tight. It was just good plays by the defense, punching the ball out, and they went right away from him. And we didn't see nothing else of him out the rest of the year. Like maybe a carry or 2. Like nothing crazy. So I think, to me, I feel like he could be a practice squad guy. That's just where I'm at with it.
I just feel like it would be dumb to
Why,
invest
though?
money into him, take him last year, get rid of him this year. It doesn't make sense. Because I just feel like Andy likes that role.
Did they list him as a fullback last year, Sam Lofton?
They
I
just
don't-
listed. When
I
they
don't think they
listed,
did.
I'm pretty sure they just listed. Like when they took the team, they just called him. They just called it halfback, and they called it like DB. Like they wasn't specifically calling out.
Brian
things
Parrott,
last
you're
year.
not allowed to pull out old fullbacks by naming 3. I meant just 3 that are in the league now. Like, we can all name 3 fullbacks. Don't be doing this to me. Jay-Z the White says that he could be a Mike Allstott type fullback / running back combo, and I think that's what you're getting at, right? Like he can be used as both.
Yeah, like I think he's got a lot to offer. He can catch the ball in the backfield too.
Is he
I
going to
don't
be as
know.
effective as an all ACC wide receiver at catching the ball out of the backfield, though?
Well, you're also forgetting the fact that he's pretty good in special teams as well. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, I think Elijah Mitchell is the wild man out. Like, I'm not for sure what we've got from him, and he's going to have to prove it during the offseason, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I said that a while ago. I think that Elijah Mitchell could be a surprise cut. Like, a lot of people are really excited about
Like, it's
Elijah Mitchell.
wild that you would think that, and he probably is going to make the team, but I do think he's got to go in and approve. Like, he's got to go in and he's got to prove it.
Yeah, I think
He's
so
got to
too,
find his
but
spot.
I do think he'll be good. The biggest thing with me, with Elijah Mitchell, was availability.
I
Is he
think
going to be
maybe,
able to be healthy enough to play a full season?
Julia asked the question earlier. We didn't get to it, but she said, "Who do you think would be a surprise cut?" Because you asked me, "Who do you think a surprise UDFA would be?" So, who do you think a surprise cut would be? Like Elijah Mitchell? Is that what you're going to go with?
Sure. I mean, just as much as anybody else. We kind of floated Juju around, but I don't think that's a thing.
Well, we floated Juju only because if Royals were to kind of take over that number 4 spot,
I still think Juju's
but I still
there,
think he
right?
provides too much stability there in
Yeah.
times of need.
Yeah, I think so too. Honestly, I don't know. Surprise cuts. We talked about it a little bit, but none of them are like super surprising, I guess. Like even if they did cut some of these guys. Yeah, I don't know.
Could you see him cutting like a Mike Caliendo or something?
No,
Never.
not this year. There ain't no way Andy Reid's cutting Mike Caliendo, bro.
No, he loves Mike Caliendo, but I'm just saying, like, you couldn't see it at all. Like, maybe if Kingsley won the job, and maybe, like I said, Dalton Cooper's playing really well. Or
I think you'd come more seeing one of them
C.J.
rookies from last
Hansen.
year. You could see a C.J. Hansen or a Hunter Norzad cut before Mike Caliendo.
He got that. He got that launcher on.
Got that launcher on him, baby. Got that Chris
I don't
Jones
know.
launcher. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's all speculation right now. But I think once, like Rico says, we'll see when the pads come on. I think at least throughout camp is when we'll start being able to see. Sam Lufton said Mitchell is this year's Ronald Jones. I guarantee you, Mitchell, if he does not get cut and he makes this roster, I guarantee you he contributes more than Ronald Jones.
Didn't Ronald Jones make the team, though? He made the team.
Yeah, and they ran the ball with him like 3 times that season. It was insane. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
He was on the sideline.
It was something weird.
Julia says Nazi Johnson. I don't think they'll cut him. They just re-signed him.
I mean, I could see that. They only signed him for 1 year, though, to do basically. But I could see it because there's a lot of competition there, and he kind of proved he wasn't the greatest ever last year. But I feel like they really do like him, though, right?
I do too.
They just never. I mean, Spags goes to him an awful lot.
So, let's see. Somebody said Sky. Ray said Sky. I don't think that would be surprising to people. I think they'd be like, finally, about time.
Oh, yeah, Sky, I don't think that's a surprise. And, unless you just call it as they never want to get rid of Sky. So, it's very surprising.
Peter Ortiz with the 5-bomb here says, is our defense going to stop tight ends this year? Also, am I wrong saying Noah is the heir apparent to number 1 tight end? I'm going to go with yes and no. So, yes, I think we will do better at stopping tight ends this season. I think that was a detriment to our team last year. And if you notice towards the end of the year, that become less of a thing. The first half of the season, we were getting cooked by tight ends. And I think that we also have some young guys that could help with that in particular problem too, with Jeffrey Bossa. I feel like he could definitely help with that in the middle of the field there. If he gets any significant playing time on the defense. But I don't know. I just think that I'm going to hope that that's something that they could get together, right? Because obvious problem, 3rd and long, we let up all year to just stupid, wide open passes to the middle of the field, just soft defense. Just I don't know. And that also could be contributed to Spags playing a lot of zone last year too. And what made him play so much zone last year? Like, why did he change to that? Was there a reason?
He's been doing that for 2 years. They've been trying to implement it more. It's progressively picked up over the past few years. I think it's just because you just always have to evolve. And I think that they know, you've seen it with Josh Williams. The man-to-man stuff, they tend to want to call that a lot more. So they want to call penalties and nitpick things like that. Whereas, zone, you kind of don't play right on somebody. You're not right in their hip. You're not, really grabbing on. You're not trying to stick with them and mirror them. You're just kind of going and playing a spot and then playing the ball, right?
Right. Could you see Josh Williams being a cut?
Yeah, that's a good surprise cut. Now, I wouldn't do it if it were me, but look, they're going to have to do something there because I'm telling you right now, you do have a problem. You've got a problem in that room when it comes to depth. I mean, that's not a bad problem to have, but it's a problem if you're only taking 6 because theoretically you're taking 4 safeties. So 6, and you're already taking McDuffie. You're not signing Fulton in the offseason and not taking him. Justin Watson, or not Justin Watson, I'm sorry. Jalen Watson is either your 2 or your 3, depending on what you do with Fulton. So he's there. You're not drafting Noah Williams and cutting him. So there's your 4. So you've got 2 spots. Is it Josh Williams? Is it Nazi Johnson? You've just got so many guys back there that could feasibly be that spot. And it's like, I just don't know. I don't know what they end up doing. I mean, they've got a lot of good corners on that team right now fighting for those last 2 spots.
Well, let's finish up Peter's question real quick. We can talk more about the corner stuff. But he says Noah Gray being the heir apparent to tight end 1. Absolutely. I think that's the case. I'm honestly, do you think Noah Gray would be a top 3 tight end in this league if Travis Kelce had retired already? Like if Travis Kelce retired before last season, do you think Noah Gray could have been a top 3 tight end in the league last year?
I don't think he'd be that good.
You don't?
I don't think I could put him at like a top 3. I'd say maybe he's borderline in top 10, but I couldn't give him a top 3.
What about you? Wouldn't even put him in the top 5.
I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm 100%.
Jonnu Smith got in the top 5 tight ends last year. You don't think Noah Gray could have if he had the all of the number 1 targets?
I don't know. I look like who was the top 10 tight ends they come out with the other day? Because Kelsey was like 7.
No, Kelsey was 5
So you think
or
they're
6.
I thought he was like 7.
Wasn't that far?
Here,
down,
I've got
was
the
he?
graphic. Let me find the graphic. Ian, get the graphic.
Ian, put it up. Appreciate the 5, Peter. Yeah, man, I don't know. I kind of feel like if Noah Gray was the guy, I feel like he could do some damage.
I mean, you're going to have Kittle at number 1, right? That was number 1. Brock Bowers would be 2. So you're saying that Noah Gray would be number 3.
Kelsey is number 7. That's wild.
Above Trey McBride or Mark Andrews or Laporta or Hawkinson.
I think if Noah Gray got every one of the tight end 1 snaps and he got as much usage as Travis
I think
Kelce,
he could get somewhere
I
where
think he could
Kelsey
be around
is
Sam
right
Laporta,
now and
TJ
down.
Hawkinson.
I would say 7 to 10 in that same range.
You don't think he could
Kelsey
crack
being
that
at
5 or
7 is
6?
just wild anyway.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. Atlas says Travis Kelce is awful and he'll only hold y'all back. Only reason they keep him on is because the NFL wants Taylor to make appearances at the Super Bowl. I bet it has more to do with the fact that Travis Kelce was a 1,000-yard receiver for like 10 years running. That he's probably the best tight end to ever play football. And that they were still killing it. Like Travis Kelce in his down year last year, he's so bad. He still almost had 1,000 yards receiving last year. Come on, bruh. Get out of here. Mike, you good? I mean, that's crazy talk. Crazy.
Look, why are people like this?
I don't know.
You just can't admit that somebody's good at something. Like I don't understand it.
That's
Like
one
you
of the
would think
worst
that
ones.
Taylor Swift had
Atlas,
been with
Atlas,
Travis Kelce.
no offense, Atlas, but that might
you
be the
would have
worst
thought-
comment I've ever read.
You
on
would have
YouTube.
thought that Taylor Swift dated him in high school like Mahomes did Britney, and she got famous and just propelled him through his entire career the way people talk about this.
Right. And then, of course, he brought up Gronk. Okay, I'm sorry. Gronk was great in a small dose there. Like, he had his little window, but he's not even in a top 3
Tom Brady
conversation.
literally
with tight ends.
targeted him about 90% of every pass in every game.
Yeah. Get out of here with that. Yeah, Kelsey's better than Gronk. He's definitely above Gronk on the tight end list.
He's definitely played longer. Didn't Gronk even say that Kelsey was better?
Yeah, of course he did, but no one will listen to that because Gronk could block. Did you know Gronk can block? Yeah, cool. Was he an offensive lineman? Get out of here.
Yeah, that's the whole Kittle thing, too.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's just dumb.
I
That guy's
want my
just
tight end
looking
one to
for
be able to
attention.
block. That's
Atlas
exactly
needs
what I want.
attention.
Not my tight end 2 through 4. Like, that's what they're on the team for. My tight end 1, I want to be able
Right.
to catch the ball.
Like, that's my thing. It's like, if you want somebody to block for you at the tight end position, you go get yourself a Blake Bell.
Dude, we had it
You
through
know,
history. Tony
right.
G had Jason Dunn.
Yeah, Jason Dunn, if he wouldn't have had injuries, though, I think he could have been a killer receiving tight end. But, he had, I can't remember if he had
Do you know
a
who
knee
drafted
injury.
Jason Dunn?
Was the Eagles?
Yes, sir. And if I'm not mistaken, I think
Second round draft pick, maybe?
was he that high?
Pretty high,
Dude,
I think. Let me
Chucky
go
was
look it
on
up.
that roster. Chucky was a coach on that team.
Was he?
Oh, John Gruden. Yeah, I'm gonna give you some football history today. Oh, John Gruden
Jason Dunn was selected by the Philadelphia Eagles in the second round of the 1996
out of
NFL
Eastern
Draft.
Kentucky University. What was his stats?
KU, baby.
What was his stats as a senior? I'm curious. I wish he had an RAS score, which didn't have
you mean
anything
like
back then.
I have no idea, dude. Let me go.
Do you even think you could find
Dunn.
stats for Jason Dunn?
Yeah, of course.
What year was it? 98?
Let me find it.
Or was it older? I don't know.
No, he was drafted in 96. I just said it.
96, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. It might be hard to find his college stats. I don't know. I don't know if
Really?
Eastern Kentucky done a great job of keeping up with that stuff.
Come on, Eastern Kentucky.
Let me find it. Jason Dunn. Tight end. Eastern Kentucky stats. I can't find it. I don't know if they
Really?
exist. Yeah, but we can look at his NFL stats. That's what
He
we
was
can
coached
do.
by the legendary Roy Kidd.
Roy Kidd. Yeah, but no, you're not wrong.
Let me see if I can find his stats.
I think like everybody has like that guy that does a bulk of the blocking and stuff, and that is what Jason Dunn ended up doing most of his career, and he was killer at it. He was a badass. Don't get enough credit for what he was able to do. Let's see.
Dude, if we don't talk to him soon and go up to Lexington or Richmond and get that barbecue, we're just missing out.
Right. So
we have free weekends a lot of the time during the off season, and we got to go get that barbecue.
Yeah, we got to go check out his family's
What are we
barbecue
doing?
place. Yeah, we need to do that soon. So, while we're talking about Jason Dunn, that's somebody that would be a good guest on the show, right? And I wanted to bring this up to everybody. Everybody's actually here on YouTube tonight. Appreciate you being here. What we have cooking for you is we're going to start having more guest appearances on the podcast. And here's the thing, like they'll be used in some of our videos that are dropped, yes. But the main reason for this is that it's yet to be named. It's yet to be completely panned out or thought out or whatever. It's not laid out, whatever you want to call it. But we're going to have a members only series. Okay. So like once a week-ish, if we can do it, once a week, you're going to get a members only video to where it's a Chiefs, either content creator or someone that works with the Chiefs or has played for the Chiefs or does play for the Chiefs, some kind of cool guest to come on, and we're going to have a little fun with them. And it's going to be kind of like the thought of it is kind of to have a game with these people for you to get to know them better and for it to be fun. And it's going to be a members only series. And we already have a few lined up, locked and loaded. And it's going to be fun. We actually have our first one on this Thursday night. So we'll get all that footage together. We'll get all of it together, and you'll get to start getting those probably weekly, hopefully, is the idea. Or at least every other week.
We're trying to do one a week and maybe run it from like, say, July, mid-July to maybe once the season starts. And that'll be like season 1. We're trying to do, maybe we expand it, have more seasons or something. Just doing some kind of different content for the members. Because the members have been with us from the beginning. You guys get a lot. You get a members only. You get things like that. But we're trying to give you extra things because,
Yep.
$4.99, whatever you pay for it. Some people are more. Some people are the $19.99s and different things, and they support the channel and things. So just want to give back and help you guys as we grow. You guys get more stuff too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun little series.
Steve, I found Jason Dunn.
You found his college stats?
When he was a junior, he caught 14 passes for 278 yards and had a touchdown. One.
Okay, so just
his senior year, he was drafted in the second round off these stats.
Pop off?
You ready for this? Mm-hmm. 20 catches, 221 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
That's wild. So it was all.
He added 57 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
So it was all projection
based
with
on
him.
projection and how they wanted to use him. And I feel like they wanted to use him as kind of like an H-back. He ran the ball.
Well, no,
Easter.
when he was with the Eagles, though, he was
Roy
averaging.
Kidd had him running the ball.
Do you realize when he was with the Eagles, though, he had like I want to say he averaged like 21 yards per catch. Like they threw to him quite a bit his rookie season, I think.
Come to the Chiefs, man. First touchdown I ever watched in a Chiefs uniform as a fan was Jason Dunn versus the Bengals.
Yep. Yeah, man. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, we're gonna have our first guest on this
Throw out
Thursday
some
night.
ideas for guests, by the way, in the chat. Throw in some people you'd like to see. I mean, be reasonable. I'm not getting Patrick Mahomes on the show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just kind of think in the vein of the Chiefs, not necessarily all Chiefs players. They're really hard to get. So, I mean, just like people that work with the Chiefs, around the Chiefs, content creators, things like that. So, yeah, if you have any ideas, put them in the chat. Appreciate y'all being here, by the way. Do us a favor. Hit the like button if you haven't yet. It just takes a second. We would appreciate that. We're going to be here for a few more minutes. If you have any questions or anything, put those in the chat as well. Shout out X tonight. X absolutely swamped everybody tonight and killed it. It looks like, what are we at right now on X? Let me take a look. 6.3 thousand people on X. So
at the end of the night, Steve, what you're going to find out is that X probably glitched, and those numbers aren't even nowhere near being right.
No, but you know what?
Because how many times has X been hacked over the past, 3 months?
Do you think
so? There's probably just something going on in the system, and there's probably 63 people watching, not 6.3.
Hey, either way,
X.
X is killing you.
It is what it is. I don't take the numbers to heart too much. Don't really care.
Old Wine New Bottle says we should get D Ford on as a guest to let him know that he will never forgive him. Let's get D Ford on the pod.
Poor D Ford.
Yeah, JD's definitely going to be on that list. Sam Lofton. We're going to get him on. We're going to try to do all like the main like Chiefs content creators. We'll try to get Cole to come on. We'll do probably Ryan and Dan from RGR. We're going to get probably Bucker Bob, one of those guys. We'll get Scrambling Armchair if he wants to do it. Just all the main YouTubers that you know of, we'll probably try to get them. Lance and Trevor, we'll try to get them on the show too. But yeah, it's just one at a time, and we're going to shoot some questions at them and have a little fun with that. And hopefully it'll be a good way for you guys to get to know them a little bit better and be some good content for you members too. I think it'll be fun. Yeah, we can get Shaggy Shane. That's a good one. Let's get all those guys, man. It'll be a fun one. I think there's a couple of guys from KCSN or Arrowhead Addict, I think, that we've talked to, and a few other places. So we'll try to get the first one posted, members only, probably at the end of this week, maybe on the weekend. Maybe that'll be a thing that we'll release on the weekends, members only. So maybe by this weekend we can have the first one ready to go. So that'll be a fun thing.
Don't hold your
Maybe.
breath.
Why?
Don't hold your breath.
What do you got going on? What do you got going on? So important.
I don't. But here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to stack some episodes before you
Oh,
release them.
yeah. Yeah, true. Maybe it'll be next weekend. Whatever. Peter Ortiz with the 5 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go, Peter.
Appreciate you, brother.
Let's go, baby. If you got one of those memberships from Peter, thank him in the chat. Peter's very, very gracious. Peter's very, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Not gracious. Supportive.
No. Yeah, well, he is that. What's the word I'm looking for?
Generous?
Generous. That's it. I knew it started with a G.
Generous.
Words are hard, though, you know? English is hard sometimes.
English is rough, man. It's not your first language.
No. What was my first language? Slapnut?
Czechoslovakia.
Chris Clark is knowledgeable, Sam Lofton says. But it can't. Come on, man. But yeah, I mean, any of those guys, I think it'll be fun to do. Anytime y'all have ideas or anybody that you would like to see, I think that'd be fun. And then also, one thing that I would kind of like to do is kind of cross over to different teams, content creators, and get them on just to kind of talk smack back and forth a little bit. I think that would be fun. Don't you? Like, I think that would be cool. Not like a malicious, not a malicious thing, but
right.
Like just somebody to go back and forth on. I think that'd be cool.
What if, like, okay, here's an idea. I'll just spitball this. What if during the season there was a specific night or something that we decided to do a live, and you pulled the team you were going to play, find a content creator, and they're the team you're going to play, and have them on one night and kind of analyze the
and just
the
talk
matchup.
about I think so.
Could we maybe start doing that on Saturdays? Like,
I don't know.
Like
We'll
putting
see.
that in like the tailgate.
We'll see. Brian Parrott says Perna. We'll get Brandon Perna on for that new series if we can. We'll get anybody that will actually answer a DM or get back to us, like we're willing to have on. It just depends. Like some people just they're either too busy or too cool to respond. So there's that. But we'll see what we can get.
I'll drive to their house and knock on their door.
Hey, excuse me, Mr. Perna, sir.
Hey, people were able to break in Mahomes and Kelsey's house, and we can't even get through their DMs. Like, what kind of a loser are we?
Right. Well, I think that was part of the cartel. So I don't know if we have those
So
connections.
should we hire the cartel?
Yeah.
think
Chieffer
we
says
might.
DRC, young new kid. Yeah, we've talked about that. We'll probably try to get a hold of him. And maybe that young kid. I can't think of his name right now. You know what I'm talking about?
A young kid. Everybody's a young
No,
kid.
no, no.
compared
This
to
kid's
us.
like an actual young kid, though.
This kid's actually a child.
You know who I'm talking about. Arrowhead News and
Ian?
Rumors or something. No, I can't think of his name. Daggone it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we meant to be on the show one time, and we just got.
I was sick
Work it
then.
out. Yeah, you were sick.
remember?
And then
Yeah,
we
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just get everybody. Anybody
Should we
and
just
everybody.
mix it up too? Should we just have anything to do with the Chiefs kind of people?
We should have Brian Parrott on the show.
I'm not talking like that. I'm talking
Julia
like
Gulia is going to be
just
the guest.
randoms. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like a Royals player or personality or the owner of Jack Stack. I don't know. Like, how funny would that be?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool. I think it'd be a fun thing to do. Brenda with the 10 bomb says, always a joy being here with you guys and the crew. Always a joy having you, Brenda. We appreciate you. Brenda's an OG. Been around for a long, long time. Appreciate the 10 bomb. Thanks for the support. Yeah, man, but like, shoot, we're going, this is our 4th season. It's our 4th season
Yeah.
on YouTube. Is that
But
right?
one season we were completely banned for a year.
Yeah, YouTube
And then
hasn't
the
been
first
very,
season,
very kind
we
to us,
wasn't
have they?
really established. So
Yeah.
we were just kind of learning the ropes. So this is kind of like our second full good season.
Yeah, Bobby Stroop would be a cool one. We have talked to one guy, buddies with Mahomes, also was on the team. We're going to try to get him on. That'll be fun. He was a Chief for a few years. So that'll be a good one.
The groundskeeper at Arrowhead. I forget his name.
What?
Look, I forget his name, and I apologize.
We need Mitch Holtis on.
But look,
How can we do that? That's what we
the
need to do.
groundskeeper at Arrowhead, I spoke to him one time because I was trying to get something.
That's so random, dude.
Look, I was trying to get a.
I don't even want to know.
I was trying to get an image that I could not find. So I talked to him, and he said he would go into Arrowhead any day I wanted and film any kind of image I wanted. He'd message it to me. So
Right.
I was trying to get an image from Arrowhead, like a specific image, you know, like from the field, like you just can't walk in and do. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right. Yeah. Let's see here. What else we got in the chat? Richie says, is there anyone else here that Ozzy... No, I don't think Ozzy actually died. I don't think. I think he said something about he thought he was going to die on stage during his Black Sabbath reunion. That's how he felt.
What?
That's how he felt like he was going to go out. Man, what was I going to say? I was going to say something, and I got sidetracked because I saw that comment, and I was like, I got to check on Ozzy Osbourne. Let me go check on Ozzy, see how he's doing.
Do you know Ozzy's real name?
Oswald?
No, come on.
I don't know.
Ozzy is from his last name.
Oh, I don't know, dude. You're making me want to Google it right now, but I won't.
John Michael
Ramsey. Remember
John
him?
Michael Osborne. How you like it?
How you like me now? John Michael Osborne. Mike, tell the people about Justin Reed. We heard from Justin Reed.
Oh,
We
yeah,
talked to-
yeah.
Yeah, we heard from Justin Reed the other day. He
Dude,
said something kind.
this
He
was
said something
wild.
He said something kind of interesting. Honestly,
He did say something kind of interesting. But Justin Reed he was always a friend. Like, I think Justin Reed was the most accessible Chiefs player. Najee Johnson was decently accessible. You could pretty much get in touch with Najee Johnson when you wanted. He was going to come on the show, just never did. I think he's been on like Cole a few times.
Yeah.
We had Swayze Bozeman. We had Darian Kennard drop in randomly. Like, there's been a few, but I want to say Justin Reed was probably the most accessible Chief guy, and I give him credit for that. Now, he absolutely hated a lot of people on X. He would
Yeah, they're
bash a
dumb,
lot of
man.
creators. He would block people, but for some reason, he never blocked us, Steve, and I'll take that as credit.
It's because
that
he
didn't-
liked our show.
He didn't think we were that stupid because he didn't block us. But anyways, I just thanked him when he left the Chiefs, man. I was like, thanks for being here. Thanks for giving your time and effort and being a friend of the show. He even sent us pictures of his Super Bowl ring from the ring ceremony that night to show to the
Yeah.
people.
So we could see what it looked like. Yeah.
when
yeah.
they thought there was that misprint on it, right? The Dolphins misprint.
Yep.
So yeah, he was pretty cool. Just the other day I wake up, he writes back finally, I'll bring it up. I wrote, hey bro, wish you the best. Also wish you could have stayed here in KC. Appreciated your effort, heart, and love of the game. Kill it in New Orleans. Sent that out at 5:30 on March 11th when he signed with New Orleans. Randomly at 2:05 on a Saturday, bro. He writes and says, appreciate you, my man. I loved my time there. Bittersweet that it ended. Hopefully we'll come around again soon.
What
Steve,
about
is that?
that?
Is that
What about
mean
that?
he's coming back for barbecue, or do you think he might be back here later in his career to
I
give it
think
another
Justin
run?
Reed wants to be in Kansas City, and it just didn't work out. That's what it sounds like to me.
It was a position
Hopefully,
that
it'll
they
come
couldn't
back
afford
around.
to
He
pay.
said, "Yeah, dude. Okay, well, with that kind of attitude, though, and I understand people just say things sometimes, but Would it surprise you if he had another stint with the Chiefs later on in his career?
You know, maybe he comes back on like a 1 or 2 year deal or something like Mike Edwards. Maybe they start bringing him back in on like a 1 year later in his career.
We always like to have a veteran guy back there, so maybe
a guy that knows the system very well.
When it makes
can
more
come right
sense,
back.
maybe we can get him back. That'd be kind of
Or
cool.
if there was a random, you know, say New Orleans comes into some cap trouble, and after the second year they decide they can't pay him what he does, and he becomes a camp casualty or something. So, you know, it's possible. I would never say never with Justin Reed coming back to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool that he threw that out there, though. I don't think he wanted to leave. Obviously, he had to go get another good paycheck, though. He's getting to that age, though. It's like you got to cash in while you can. So
I will say it
he's
would have
not
been
like
fun.
super old, though.
If he'd have been back with the Chiefs, it would have been fun. A series would have been us playing chess versus him. Drew Tranquil
Yes.
could come in on that too.
Look, man, I don't think anyone would be opposed to it if you could talk him into playing a chess game against you on one of our things. Like if we could get him for long enough to play chess with you live on the stream, even though he plays for the Saints now, I don't think anyone would be mad at that.
It would be kind of funny, actually. And then you could, wasn't it Drew Tranquil that won as well? He won something on chess.com.
Justin's only 28. So he's he needed that one more
Justin
good
also
paycheck.
plays golf. He needs a golf teacher. I know a certified golf teacher. That would have been a fun series. Mike teaches Justin golf. That would have been hilarious. Dude, that would have been freaking hilarious. We missed the boat there.
I think you were right about Drew Tranquil. I think he did win some kind of a chess thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let's get him. Mike, I just want to watch you play these two in chess. I want to be on the side. I'll be here just watching on the side. Can I commentate it?
Yeah, you got to commentate it. Did you see where Magnus Carlsen lost the other day and like slammed the table?
No.
He just like slammed the table, dude. Like, of course he was a good sport about losing, but he made he played a 99% accuracy game and got mad about it. He blundered one like pawn.
Pretty wild. Well, we appreciate you guys being here. We know there's not a whole lot going on, but we had to get on, talk to you guys, hang out with you. It'd been a minute, and we're going to have some content for you guys tomorrow, hopefully, and shorts, full-length video drop, stuff like that. We'll be back later this week with another live stream, too, so be on the lookout for that. Appreciate all you guys that donated and gifted out memberships. Peter Ortiz, you're the man. Thanks for the support. Thanks for hitting the like button on the way out.
Said I wouldn't have a chance versus Justin Reed playing
Mike's
chess.
Mike's making it a ritual to cut me off when I'm getting ready to end the show.
I'm sorry, because people were still talking, but
I think
Sam said I wouldn't have a chance,
I think this is like the fourth one in a row.
I don't think I'd have a chance either, to be honest.
Against who?
Justin Reed.
I think you could get him.
Man.
It's not just who do you think's better, Justin Reed or Drew Tranquil?
I don't know. I would go back and look at their chess games now.
I think they played each other, didn't they?
Maybe. I'm gonna have to go back and watch their games now because I peaked in high school, so.
Peaked in high school. You peaked in middle school against Doc McCall. Remember that guy, the old teacher,
the Kentucky State chess champion.
You peaked when you beat Doc.
Yeah. Doc McCall. Let's go, baby.
Also wanted to shout out X tonight for holding like 6,000 people most of the stream.
Dude, we're going to find out that's a glitch.
I don't care if it is. Each and every bot, I'm going to say that Julia said hi.
If those are bots, okay, cool. I appreciate y'all being here.
All right, we'll see you next time. Go Chiefs.
Wow.